Hello traders, welcome to today's video. Now we've actually had some pretty decent price action over the past day or so, so I think this merits a slightly more comprehensive video than the quick 60-second updates I've been doing, although I will, as always, keep it very short, try and keep it as concise as possible, and just go over the levels that I'm looking at, the kind of trades that I'm looking at right now. So Bitcoin, okay, main thing to really look at for myself is this daily range, okay. I have been looking at, as we've had this just big move down that's kind of got this deviation towards the lows of this range and has had that SFP off of the absolute low, then I am still looking at a rotation up towards the highs. I would like to see 17,600 hit at some stage. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen immediately, but you can see since we had that bounce, we've just had this gradual move down towards the lows, deviation at the lows. Now, I am fully expecting a rotation up towards the highs, even if that is just a kind of a bearish backtest and we are going to be seeing lower prices from then. So that goes on the daily range here. Okay, we still look like we can have some upside here, but if we go on to the more local timeframes, then it's starting the at least the move that we've had at the moment is starting to look a little bit exhausted, and I do think that a correction could be coming quite soon. So go down onto this, you can see that SFP. Now, frustratingly for myself, just missed some orders that I had at the lows. Like, it only just peaked below it and then got that bounce. Then it had that bounce that came into that daily level, okay, into the lows of the range, and then subsequently we found that absorption holding around the golden pocket region before forming this uptrend since then. Now, this trending move that we've seen is quite interesting, okay, because at the moment we are, I mean, market structure is still bullish and we do have to be trading it as such, but it is starting to lose momentum here, so we could see a corrective move coming out of this. You can see here that first break that we had, they close above, you form a range, you almost have this ascending triangle that comes higher, and then once again you break above, you close above that, and then again here, almost like this ascending triangle structure that is forming. But on this occasion, what we have had is already one attempt to break higher, and that has given us an SFP, but we haven't yet had like a confirmation that that is like a proper swing failure pattern. We're still looking at this bullish market structure, this continuing climb up in price, and at the moment you'd have to say that does lead to the probability that we are going to see this extend a little bit further before any major correction off of this. From our let's go over onto the USDT chart here. Actually, no, let's stay on this. Let's stay on this because the scam wicks are a bit annoying on the USDT chart. So we'll stick on the inverse just for now. And if we do draw a fixed range from the entire range here, so going from our lows all the way down there up towards our highs, then we are at this range POC. Now, once again, okay, you can see here, it couldn't break above from a market structure perspective. And also, we are still continuing to get held at that point of control of the range. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 1-hour candles now. So 4 hours that we've been up here attempting to break through this POC of the range, and it hasn't yet been able to do that. There is further confluence, okay? We've got the 4-hour OB up here, all right, that we've just tapped into earlier on. So the 4-hour OB, the range POC, and just from a market structure perspective, having that SFP off of the highs. Now, just above that, if we go over onto the USDT pair, okay, what we also have here is a daily level that is, as of yet, untapped. Once again, you can see that POC there. Ignore the wicks, but we do have this daily level up here. And if we do add on the session volume profile, then we can see this NPOC, again, ignore the wick short on here, then we do have the session or the daily NPOC that is coming in at this exact region on the chart here. So significant resistance. It is going to, I mean, it's going to struggle to break through it. We're going to need to see some volume to break this higher. But for now, bullish market structure is still there. And it's a little early, I think, to be looking at any like big short positions that can take us back down. However, okay, we know the levels above, with the daily level, the midpoint of the range. If this does break higher, I would actively look for shorts above these highs. But if we do also start to break this market structure, so if this does reject, we come back down here towards about like taking out 16,400. If we do bounce then, and put this back on here, if we do take out these lows and we come back into that POC, that could give us a really good opportunity to kind of take out, we've already taken out some of these stops, but then it could aim for these lower ones as well, because at some stage you would expect this to get flushed, whether it's going to happen now or whether it's going to happen with another one or two moves up to like up into those higher levels there. So yeah, at the moment pretty decent. You just got to wait for that change of market structure and see what comes off of that. I don't really think there's anything more to say on Bitcoin. If we're looking at support, okay, if we are going to see this move down, then we do have some decent confluence down here. So zoom back out of this. You got obviously the value area low of the range. Now we have been holding that, so I wouldn't be looking at a deep retrace from there. But if we do draw our fibs and we go from this low up towards this high, your golden pocket is coming back in around a what is now again an untapped daily. So we have left behind a daily level down here. So if we are going to see a deep retrace, that's obviously something you've got to look at. And if we do add on the 382, then that is coming in right around that daily open. So for myself, if we do see this reject and come down, that is where I would be looking for long positions to take us back up, see if we can get back up within this and continue higher, or see if this is going to lead to a bigger correction here. So that's the support. We know the resistance. I think that's kind of Bitcoin done, right? Yeah, I think so. Ethereum. So Ethereum, yeah, is again a decent bounce. We're looking at something very similar. I am long on Ethereum. So on Bitcoin, I haven't actually been able to get into those long positions to ride this move up. In fact, I did take a short yesterday that wasn't a great trade. But on Ethereum, yeah, I'd scaled into a long position. Within this, we have good confluence down here. So we have a daily order block down here. We have the POC off of this previous range, and we have the monthly level. So we had really good confluence there on Ethereum, which we didn't necessarily have on Bitcoin at those lows, apart from just the SFP of the range lows. We've had a decent move up, and once again, I am looking for a little bit higher on this. So as long as Bitcoin can hold and it doesn't start to collapse back down, I do think further upside on Ethereum is certainly possible here. And realistically, I'm just aiming for 1,200. Okay, if we can get that move up, we've got the POC of this larger range. Okay, so the same range that Bitcoin's in. We do have the POC of this. So Ethereum lagging slightly behind here, but it is holding within value area, and we do have the POC and this. Well, it's more of a daily OB up here. Okay, so that for myself is the target for this long position. I did go long below that daily level down here, so around about 1,080, and then we're looking for that move up towards 1,200 on this. Again, if we do start to roll over, if Bitcoin does start to have a bit of trouble here, then I think as long as we're holding above that 11,000, what am I saying? 1,140, then that starts to, you can hold some support there and then maybe go for that 1,200. I don't even know what levels I've been saying. I've been saying like 11,000, 12,000. 1,200 is the target for this. I'm just going to continue to hold it until then, unless we see this start to really retrace on Bitcoin as well. The rest of the market, okay, let's look at the DXY. So we have had a decent rejection off of what we had been considering as potential support. So it was disregarded as support on the way down. You have this channel here. You bounced into your next support zone, this daily order block, and the 382 and the weekly level. And then this is what we were saying last week. This is the bare minimum you would expect from the DXY. So we were fully expecting a move up to test into this zone. Okay, disregarded it as support on the way down. It took out these lows. And then you would fully expect that to, even if this is a bearish retest and we're going to be looking for lower, you would have expected that bounce. So we have had that now. We have had that rejection, but we are starting to find support here within this previous area of resistance. And again, if you do just take this back and you're looking at this kind of whole zone around here, you can see that it's fairly significant on this. So are we looking for another rotation back up towards the highs, or are we looking at this kind of continuing to the downside? Now we have to be aware we've broken the parabolic uptrend that we were in. I do think ultimately that USD has formed a major high here. But if it does get back above this, then I think a move back up towards the highs. And even we still have that yearly level as a possibility here that could come into play later on in the year, or even going on into next year. But overall, so far, bearish retest. I would be looking for lower on the dollar. The S&P. Okay, so the S&P has been trading quite nicely. We had that move down again into... Whoops. Oh my god, what am I doing? Here we go. Okay, so we had this range that was formed over here. We had the move down that came into the negative 618. We had got the bounce back up into the POC. Then we held at that golden pocket. We had this downtrend. Okay, so we had this trend line moving down, and then as soon as we got that break, we have moved all the way up towards the top of the range. And for myself, if we are going to see that continued weakness from the dollar, I do think that the S&P has a very good chance of coming up towards this weekly level at 4,065. But once again, we're back at the highs of the range here. We've had a deviation towards the highs. We've had a deviation towards the lows. Are we going to see that this starts to settle back down, and we're looking for those shorts back in towards that POC before potentially another move up on this? So yeah, not too much more to say on the S&P. I think this as a trade from the lows, which is one that I had taken, is kind of done, unless we are to see that bigger move up towards the weekly here. The Nasdaq, just the weekly off of that, not too much more to add. Euro dollar, nothing there. I guess Litecoin is a good one to talk about. So Litecoin's just had an insane move again. I kind of got caught up in a short position off of this, and then very quickly got stopped after it took out these highs. So Litecoin looks strong, weirdly. I don't really know what else to say on this. It's normally not a good sign for the market when Litecoin is pumping like this, so we'll have to monitor. I don't know, I can't tell you why it's pumping. I was aiming for that short off of an SFP off of the daily level and into the 886, but yeah, it looks very strong, which is an odd one. The other trade I have taken recently, so Matic, we had a setup yesterday. This actually, no, this didn't come into this, but we were looking for a long position on Matic, and that's getting a decent bounce off of here. And then again, the rest of the market's just kind of following what Bitcoin's doing. I think BNB was one that we were interested in, so that come down here. Not quite reached into those levels, but BNB looking really good, and yeah, kind of strong. But I think at the moment, the focus has to be on what Bitcoin is doing, on what the majors are doing, and still, yeah, we are at a significant level of resistance here. So I don't think there's anything more that I need to say on the market. I'm going to leave it there and let you guys get back to your day. And I'll see you very soon. Cheers.